People don't know this, but Japan is the largest nation. Well, no, it's the nation that holds the most U.S. bonds, right? So we actually owe Japan the most money. And if they're having problems with their currency, it makes reason to think that they may have to sell off some of those bonds that they hold, right? Which means there will be a lot of liquidity, which means a lot of that liquidity can go into what's the best hedge against inflation and the best store of value that we have, and that's Bitcoin. So some people are arguing that a weakened yen or weakened dollar, weakened euro, whatever it is, okay, is going to help Bitcoin in the long run. And I don't necessarily disagree with that, right? Bitcoin 61K. Are investors losing interest? This is a worrying sign. Like what signs? For example, this from this person that shows that accumulation in the past 30 days have shrunk quite a lot versus times before, right? Just like this one that I saw, this actually shows the accumulation chart. And in fact, red is not good, blue is good. And you could see before, just a month before in March, accumulation all around from all different addresses, okay? And now it's all red. Like within 1 month, it all turned red, right? So if you look at these by itself, you're like, this is no good. What happened to all the buyers? What happened to all the long-term holders and the institutions and whales? Where did they all go, right? Is this a worrying trend? Is this a trend that's going to carry Bitcoin for the remainder of this year? Look at this. Crypto monthly trading volume drops the first time in 7 months. So we had 7 consecutive great months, okay, all the way from September of 2023. And then you can see October we went up, November, December, January, February, March, a big volume spike in March. And then we went down, right? So again, you put all this together, you're like, okay, now we have concerning data, right? Everything is showing that things are going down. This is no good. And here's how I'm going to counter all of this. Okay, all this data that you're seeing right now, it's just measuring basically 1 month. Last month, April, and now we're in May, right? So, of course, April, this is showing April volume going down, okay. This is showing accumulation score in April, not good. This is also showing how Bitcoin accumulation lasts 30 days, no good. This is all based on 1 month data. And why is that important? Well, because I showed you guys this before. We had 7 consecutive green months from September all the way to March. So when you look at this and you put things in perspective, of course, we're going to have a bad month. You can't have an asset go up forever and never have any downtrends. And I've showed this before, and I'm going to show again. It's really relevant because all these articles and people that are trying to scare you and saying this is concerning, well, they're not taking into account that we had 7 straight months of green, of positive gains. So, of course, there will be a down month. And we may have 2 down months. We may have 3. But never in Bitcoin's history, count all the months out here since this started tracking in 2013. We never had a run where we had 7 consecutive green months. We made a record this past year. From September to March, we went on a ferocious climb. 7 straight months. We've never done that before. So to have 1 down month in April is perfectly okay. And even if this month turns out to be red, and let's say June turns out to be red, even if we had 3 straight red months, that would be perfectly normal. Look at look at some of these previous years that we had. We had plenty of periods where we had 3 months, 4 months, 5 months of red. And that doesn't mean anything, really. Doesn't mean that the bull run is over. Look at 2021. Case in point, 2021 was the most bullish year in the last cycle, right? And even during that most bullish cycle, you still had 3 consecutive reds. Look at April, May, and June in 2021. 3 consecutive red months, right? But would anyone argue how great 2021 was for Bitcoin and alts? So, here's the thing. You got to look at the whole picture. That's kind of my point, okay? So all the concerning data, all the FUD that's out there that's trying to pinpoint and nitpick short term, yeah, they have a point, right? Yeah, April wasn't good. But what about the 7 months before that were absolutely fantastic? The 7 months before brought Bitcoin from a $20,000 level to now a $60,000 level. No, $70,000 level before we came back to 60s, right? So that is the important thing to remember. So don't be discouraged. Know that, again, this is normal, even though right now I know we're kind of going down a little bit. But all this concerning trend, it makes sense because Bitcoin can't go up forever. It does need to take a breather, and this is perfectly normal in every single cycle. And when you zoom out, you'll realize the same thing, especially on a grander scale like this on a chart. You'll realize that, hey, many times, in fact, every single time that we have a halving event, we do actually dip down before we start going upwards, right? And we got 500 days. Oof, 500 days. Yeah, I don't know about that. We don't have 500 days of up. But if you do notice after the dotted lines that it's hard to see, but we do have a dip every single time. And it's the same thing this time. So it's really no different than before, okay? And I know it sucks when things are going down. No one wants to see that. Everyone wants to see their portfolio go up every single day, right? But that's not how it works. Not how it works at all. But again, when you zoom out, you realize that, hey, we are still moving according to plan. Nothing has really changed.